noches, Chile.
Good evening, Chile.
Bonui, Suma, Aruma, Punmai, Chile. Gracias a ustedes,
Thanks to you,
a todas las personas,
to everyone,
todos los pueblos que habitan el lugar que llamamos
to
Chile.
each people who live here in Chile.
Quiero comenzar este momento histórico que
I want to begin this historic moment,
emocionante
which is truly
en que nos están
emotion,
viendo los ojos de Chile y del mundo,
in which everybody here in Chile and the world is seeing
a
us,
todos los chilenos y chilenas que fueron a votar,
thanking every Chilean who went to vote,
compromiso con la democracia.
honoring their commitment with democracy.
Lo hicieron en el duro y noble norte.
They did so
Hicieron
in
también
the north,
en el lluvioso y ventoso sur.
in the south,
Estuvieron en el caluroso y fértil centro y también en Rapa Nui, en
also in the
Costa Rica y
center
en la Antártica
and in
chilena.
every part of Chile.
Lo hicieron desde el extranjero,
They did so
desde los pueblos más chicos hasta las ciudades más grandes.
in every
No
city,
importa hoy día en este momento
and it doesn't matter today that
por mi contrincante.
if they did it for me or my opponent.
Es que lo hicieron,
The most important thing is they did so,
que mostraron su compromiso
is that they showed their commitment with their country,
y de todos.
which is from all of us.
También, por supuesto, y debo decirlo,
And of course, and I must say this,
personas que quisieron asistir a votar
to those people
pudieron hacerlo por
who wanted to vote and weren't able to because of the transportation,
no puede volver a ocurrir
this can happen again.
importante tan
That in an important days like this,
se prive a la gente por los motivos que sean de ejercer su derecho a voto.
people can
También
bribe to come to vote.
agradecer a quienes hicieron posible esta hermosa campaña,
I also want to thank to those who made possible this campaign,
Chile, organizaciones sociales que vienen
social organizations that have been fighting for years,
a todas las personas que las últimas semanas se han organizado
to those people that in the last week organized
Arica a Magallanes, desde Puerto Williams a Vivir.
from every corner in Chile.
Esta campaña desbordó todas nuestras expectativas
This campaign
y se tuvo que levantar de esa manera para poder alcanzar este triunfo categórico. Y este mismo compromiso que han demostrado durante estos meses
They have shown a big commitment
que no se debe votar en una elección.
all through these months, and this commitment cannot be finished within one election. This is the same commitment that will be necessary all through the years of our government, so that we can all sustain the process of change that we have started little by little. I would also like to thank
A mi jefa de campaña
my head of campaign,
que se la jugó recorriendo prácticamente todo el país
that she basically had to run the entire country,
y que ha puesto todo y más en esta candidatura.
and she has made any possible effort in this candidacy,
Como ella nos dijo,
so that with this love,
Cala sabía lo que tenía que hacer y lo hizo.
she told us, looking to our eyes, that she knew what she had to do, and she did so. To all the technical teams
Y partidos posibles
that added to these campaign, political parties, Apruebo, Dignidad, and other coalitions and forces that have supported us. I would also like to thank
alguien que
someone that
en general está ausente de los discursos de los políticos. Quiero agradecerle especialmente a los niños
I would
y a
like
las niñas
to thank
que nos llenaron de
children
en este viaje.
that had filled our hearts with love all through this journey,
Que expresaban
that
inocencia,
express
Chile y la esperanza
in their innocence
que aspiran.
the Chile, the country, and the hope they are expecting.
Chile que cuida la
A Chile that is full of love and able to protect nature, animals, squares,
barrios para poder
the neighborhood, so that they can play.
donde padres y madres tengan
A Chile where fathers, mothers have more time to be with their children, and so their grandparents are not alone in this stage of their lives. We have looked
los niñas y niñas de Chile
all along this country the eyes of children, and I am aware that we cannot fail
con especial énfasis
them. And I would like to thank also women in our land
que se organizaron
that have organized themselves through the country in order to defend the rights that have been so hard to access.
algunos osaron cuestionar hasta el derecho a decidir sobre su propio cuerpo.
Basic rights like the right to decide on their own body and the right to
Tipo de familia que haya
non-discrimination by the type of families they have decided to form, to the recognition of the tasks of care that they do today. I can tell you, you can count on us because you will be main characters of our government. Likewise, I see flags.
disidencias y diversidades
I see flags for diversities
discriminadas en
and groups that have been long discriminated in this campaign, that they were threatened in the little success they have had in our government. I would like you to know that non-discrimination and we will stop violence against diversity and women together with feminist organizations will be vital.
agradezco también al CERVEL por su impecable trabajo.
I want to thank also CERVEL for their impeccable work, their efficacy, impartialness, and fairness to the means of communication, regional means of communication, national means, international, that have conducted information to the most out of the way places in our country. And we do have the conviction that free press is an essential mechanism of democracy. It is vital also to thank all candidates that have participated in this election, because finally the entire Chile is looking at us and democracy is built with everybody. I want to thank Marco Enrique, Franco Parisi, Eduardo, and also Jose Antonio Cast. And yes, Jose Antonio Cast. The future of Chile needs all of them together with the people, and I do hope that we have the courage to put together the difference and build a nation. We will be able to build bridges so that our countrymen are able to live better, because this is what is demanded from our people today. By the way, thanks to my family, my mother, father, my two brothers, and my grandparents who are no longer with us, and Irina, my travel partner. We are the milestones of my days, and you are also part of my being here today. As you know, I come from afar. I come from the south, from Magallanes, almost touching the Antarctica, and I am 35 years old. And I know this, the history does not start with us. I feel that I am an heir, and I feel that our project is heir of a long historical journey with different positions, and they have sought to find justice, the widening of democracy, the defense of human rights, and the protection of liberty. That's the big family, and that's the family I like to see together once again in this stage that we start today. We are in the midst of a historical change. I will be the president of all Chileans, men and women, of those who have voted today for this project, and those who are filling the squares of the whole Chile, those who elected an alternative, and also those who did not decide to vote. I have stuck to the families, and we're clear about what we need to do. The times to come will not be easy. We must face social consequences, economic consequences of the worst pandemic that our country has lived for more than a century, and also the reasons of an outbreak of violence that are still present today. We are clear. Some people did not see it coming. Some people say that nothing has happened. But we know that there are demands for justice and dignity, and this is in the heart of the people. We will move forward step by step, strong steps, learning from our history. Because Chile has a brief history as a national state, hardly 2 centuries of life, regardless, independent but rich in success and frustrations as well, achievements too. Moments have been beautiful and moments have been tremendously difficult, and everyone within their families is aware of that. And we have learned of this experience. Today we may be sure of many more things. And that one thing is that the economic growth that is based on inequality should know that only with social cohesion and sharing a common floor, we will be able to move forward onto a proper development, including all Chilean families. That includes families that are trying to raise honorable men and women. We do not want to have the phrases of Nicanor Parra. We don't want phrases of Nicanor Parra become part of our lives. We want the progress to reach a population, the sectors, and the most out of the way areas. This is a development that we have to change, and we will change. 2. Destabilized democratic institution leads to the realm of abuse, the law of the jungle, and the damage of the weakest. My commitment is to protect democracy every day of our government, and a substantive democracy that is not just a vote, which is important. I'm talking about a democracy where neighborhoods and populations, organizations, social organizations, and civil society have a word, have a say. Without that, it wouldn't be a democracy. 3. The main advances to become solid, it's going to require wide agreements. And to reach those, we must move step by step. We cannot risk what families have done. And 4, which I believe is tremendously important, the respect of human rights is always and at any place a commitment, and for no reason could we have a president declares the war against his own people. Chileans, men and women, victims of violation, victims of human rights violations of all times. We will never be tired of seeking for truth, reparation, justice, and non-repetition. As you know, the government that is to come, justice, truth, not to impunity. Never again impunity in our country. There are many challenges that we will have to face, and you are well aware of that. In your experience, you have lived that. Healthcare that is proper and does not divide between rich and poor. Access to the quality of the healthcare. How is it possible that in some regions we do not have specialistic care for children that suffer from cancer? How is it possible in some hospital the waiting list is so long? We cannot continue allowing for injustice and inequality. Pensions also have to be proper for those who have worked their entire life, and that pension can no longer wait. We don't want any more business to be conducted with our pensions. Growth and distribution, fair distribution of our wealth, that these facts go hand in hand. We have said it again and again. We know some agencies in Chile today have enormous incomes, but we are going to defend a public system. We are going to defend a fair system without AFP. The drama that goes all over Chile is the housing home. And I see over there the organized housing committee that has been with us all through this campaign. Access to basic services. We must focus on that. We must focus on strengthening public education. How many of you marched on 2006, 2011? This is a generation that comes onto public life, and we demand the rights to be right. We will continue defending those principles. We're going to guarantee the rights of the workers to build a nation with dignifying jobs, with better jobs, dignified salaries, by creating a national system of care that recognizes and valorates women, that as a result of chauvinism, male chauvinism, stops this kind of work. And we will move forward in co-responsibility and leaving behind a patriarchal inheritance of our society. In all the regions that we visit and neighborhoods, lack of safety is very visual. And I want to make it clear, our nation will have to be free of drug trafficking. We will recover public spaces. We will invest in culture, education, a fair distribution of justice. We will expand community sports. We will promote science, move ahead in relationship with original native nations, and we will recognize the rights of the native population to see the world from a diverse perspective, cultural perspective, and we will focus also on the care of the environment, and this will be one of our tasks.
Va la ayuda para allá. Va la ayuda para allá. Va la ayuda para allá. ¿Sí? ¿Ah? Ahí. Hay una cosa importante que me parece que lo tiene que escuchar el mundo entero.
There is something that I think the world wants to listen to this, and this is the fact that the climatic change, it is not a creation. It is present in our lives and the future generation, and it is not a coincidence that it is precisely the young people in the world that have raised their voices, from Greta to Julieta. Julieta is in Chile, by the way, before the irrational powers that want to destroy the world, and that will be to destroy ourselves. We do not want any more sacrifice zones or projects that destroyed our Chile, that destroy communities. And we have exemplified this in a symbolic case, no to Dominga. Because we cannot look to the other side when our farmers and location and complete locations have no water, which is a drama that is lived in the whole of Chile. And when that is destroyed by the greed of a few in our government, it will be a priority to avoid that destruction, and we will respect the environment, and we will demand that from here to the whole world. Of course, we know that we can't do everything at the same time, and we will have to prioritize steps. We will have to improve our lives little by little. Those advances, those priorities will have to be discussed little by little with you. We have the squares in Chile. I like to tell you that our government will be open-hand government. We'll be constantly talking to the people, and we will talk about priorities, conditions that we face in order to move ahead together, because the government does not move alone. That's the belief of a few. A government needs to be done with the people and for the people. With us, to La Moneda, the people will enter together with us. And our commitment will be to move ahead all along this path with hope, responsibility. You know it today. You felt it today. Hope overcame fear. Men and women from Chile, we have reached to this point with a project of government that can't be syncretized in a few words. To move ahead with responsibility in structural changes that Chile has been claiming for without leaving anybody behind. This means to grow economically, to turn what some call consumption goods. We have to guarantee rights for everybody. And we have to guarantee a safer, quieter, and happier life standard. And to improve the freedoms of everybody, men and above all women. Because women will have only more rights in our governments, those rights that we have been fighting for. Our project means to move ahead in more democracy. And as I was saying, we have fought together with you who are in the streets to protect and care for the constitutional process. This is a reason for world pride, because for the first time in our history, for the very first time in our Republican history, we're writing a constitution in a democratic way. Equal constitution with the participation of our original population, native population. We must have a Carta Magna that is a Carta Magna of unity. They imposed one of us in 1980, and we had a hard time to try to change that constitution. In our government, it'll be necessary, but also it will be a conviction to move ahead in teams with all sectors that are willing to do that, because the challenges that we have are too many and too important to stay in the trenches or talking to mirrors. I did not come here to have a conversation with myself. I did not come here to talk to those who think like I do. I came here as a team kind of project and to talk to those who think different. Workers in our country, we need cooperation with the entrepreneurial world. We need to build alliances. If we are here, it's to guarantee that once and for all, in this wealthy country where we have resources, but as everybody but as everybody knows, resources are not enough for everybody, and that's what we need to change. We need to have Chileans have a decent life. In this evening of success, I insist on the commitment that I stated long ago at the beginning of my campaign. We will expand social rights, and we will do that with fiscal responsibility. We will protect our macroeconomy. That will allow us to protect prosperity and health without moving backward. We will have a balanced Congress, which means an invitation and an obligation to talk. Honestly, I see this as an opportunity to get together and to achieve ample agreements that can guarantee quality of life. I trust the responsibility of all political forces of maintaining differences in the framework of ideas and put always in the forefront the well-being and to reject political violence in our society. You must know that you will find in myself a president that is open to listen and to incorporate different visions, being receptive to criticism that can help us improve. I receive this mandate with a tremendous sense of responsibility because we are standing over the shoulders of giants. And I know that the years to come we're deciding the future of our country. So I can guarantee you that I am a president that's going to protect democracy and is going to listen more than what I talk. And I will see on a daily basis the needs of the people, and I will fight privileges of a few, and I will work every day for the quality of Chilean families. This is a very happy day for us, and I know, however, that there are some who are not having a good time. I know there is a justice for poor and a justice also for the wealthy. We cannot allow that. The poor do not have to pay for inequalities in Chile. Today is a day of responsibility also, because of the work we have ahead is enormous, and we're going to require your help. We have to continue being together, and we have to continue deciding upon the changes the country requires, and we will not deny the responsibilities that we have for those that are less protected. We will govern the country with all people. We will be adding ideas, opening doors, and building bridges. We will be little by little building a nation. So for this reason, tonight we must and we have to celebrate in peace. I invite you to work on, and we will have to meet and to heal those wounds and to walk together into a better future with intact hope and aware of the challenges that we have, and with the conviction that together we will build a fairer nation, and our government is going to be learning about the needs, and decisions will together with folks. And today, with this commitment, I say goodbye, giving you a big hug with a sense of responsibility of what we have today, and tell that I will leave the best of me
We are confronting technical issues with the transmission of the words, the statements from Gabriel Boric, who is the next president, the new president of Chile. In this case, he was referring to several issues that the Chilean people must address and also his government must address as the new administration ruling Chile. Now we are going to try to head back to Gabriel Boric's words, but in the meantime, we have to say Gabriel Boric won Chile's presidency with a landslide margin. In this case, he won with over 55% of the votes, and also Cast followed up with 44% of the votes. He is there congratulating his fellow comrades of the headquarters and the staff of his campaign team. And we have a summary on his words. We were listening to Chile's new president, Gabriel Boric, who was addressing the nation. Boric thanked his campaigning staff members, his family, and the colleagues. Boric referred to his administration aspirations: equality, environmental justice and protection, and progress. He referred to all the minorities that have been outcast and discriminated by prior governments, promising a different, fair, and inclusive government, also a future. He acknowledged the role of the other candidates in the presidential race, and especially José Antonio Cast, on being a worthy opponent. He remembered his upbringing in a humble southern town, his familiar background, and also thanked his partner. He assured his generation is part of a historical change and that he will be the president for all Chileans, even those that abstained from voting. He mentioned the pandemic's impact on Chileans' economy and called all the Chileans to work together for a better future and prosperity. He called for the end of corruption as a way to put an end to the prior administration's scandals. He also recalled the human rights violations that Chilean people have endured and suffered, also saying that impunity never again. Boric also referred to inequalities in access to health care, pensions, education funds, housing limitations, and uneven wealth distribution. Boric insisted in the generational role to regain dignity for Chilean people, especially of those who are part of a minority, indigenous people, LGBTQI people, and women. He took a moment also to speak on the Dominga community under poverty and lack of basic living conditions, as the territory was part of a mining company project that was involved in the corruption scandals surrounding the Piñera administration. He called for unity amongst Chileans and assured his government will listen to the people's will, as people is constructing a new path and the future with his administration. These were the statements of the new president of Chile, Gabriel Boric. We have more details in upcoming news briefs. Stay with us.